ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो मुदिराय सिन्हातं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तस्त्वहे वाराणि विधुनोति सुरिसतम् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भाविति नश्यति मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुलङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमां वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna everyone. So today's, chap- today's chapter Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4 and Canto 4, chapter 16, verse 15, 16 and 17. So I'll start with the verse 15. Ranjayishyati yallokam ayamatma vichesitai athamam ahurajanam manorajana kai prajaha. Translation by the Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. The king will please everyone by his practical activities, and all of his citizens will remain very satisfied. Because of this, the citizen will take great satisfaction in accepting him as their ruling king. Verse 16. Druravataha satyam sandho brahmano brudha sevakaha saranyaya sarvabhutanam manado dinavaschalaha. Translation. The king will firmly determined and always situated in truth. He will be a favor. He will be a lover of Brahminical culture and will render all service to all men and give shelter to all surrendered souls. Giving respect to all, he will always be merciful to the poor and ignorant. Purport: the word Brudha Sevakaha is very significant. Brudha means old man. There are two kinds of old men. One is old by age and another is old by knowledge. This Sanskrit word indicates that one can be older by the advancement of knowledge. King Prithu was very respectful to the Brahmanas and he protected them. He also protected persons advanced in age. Whatever the king would decide to do, no one could be able to stop. That is called Drudha Sankalpa or Drudha Brata. Verse 17. मातृभक्तिः परा स्त्रीषु पत्यानाम् अर्ध इवात्मनः प्रजासु पितृवत् स्निग्धः किङ्करो ब्रह्मवादिनम्. Translation. The king will respect all women as if they were his own mother, and he will treat his own wife as the other half of his body. He will be just like an affectionate father to his citizens, and he will treat himself as the most obedient servant of the devotees who always please the glories of the Lord. Purport. A learned man treats all women except his wife as his mother, looks on others' property as garbage in the street, and treats others as he would treat his own self. There are symptoms of a learned person as described by Chanakya Pandit. This could be the standard for education. Education doesn't mean having academic degree only. One should execute what he has learned in his personal life. These learned characteristics were mostly manifest in the life of King Prithu, although he was the king. He treated himself as a servant of the Lord's devotee. According to according to the Vedic etiquette, if a devotee came to a king's palace, the king would immediately offer him own seat to him. The word Brahmavadinam is very significant. Brahmavadi refers to the devotee of the Lord. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are different terms for the Supreme Brahman, and the Supreme Brahman is Lord Krishna. This is accepted in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 12, by Arjuna. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Param Bhavan. So, thus, the word Brahma Vadinam refers to the devotees of the Lord. The state should always serve the devotee of the Lord, and the ideal state should conduct itself according to the instruction of the devotees. Because King Prithu followed this principle, he is highly praised. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे. Thanks everyone for joining and giving me the opportunity to speak on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are discussing about chapter Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 16, and text 15, 16, and 17. So this particular chapter 16 is known for praise of King Prithu by the professional reciters. And so in this particular chapter of Canto 4, chapter 16, it's called the praise of Prithu by the professional reciters. So here are the basic, uh, the the summary, or I would say rather the contents of this chapter. The first is saying the reciters continue to praise the king in this chapter, and then what happened? King Prithu are just chastiser to the irreligious principles. Then King Prithu's protect the whole world. Then King Prithu to remain just like fire. King Prithu will respect all women. Then King Prithu will perform the 100 Aswamedha Yajna. Right? So this chapter is altogether about praising and glorification of King Prithu. So in previous chapter, we learn how Prithu Maharaj's body represents different demigods, right? So in the verse 6, chapter 16, verse 6 to 13. So from there it mentioned in the text 6, he's compared to its sun god. King Prithu Maharaj compared with the sun god. The reason being the so what happened the in the next verses he's compared to the body of Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Agni, Vayu, and Dharmaraj, Yam. So for example, Prithu Maharaj's body compared to the sun god, as the sun as the sun god soaks water from earth for 8 months and give back in the rainy season. Similarly, this king will administer the subject like sun god, by collecting taxes, and whenever is necessity, he will distribute that amount to the citizens. In this way, the professional reciter keep praising on and on. They say, "You will be like Mother Earth, and you will be very tolerant." Right? Then the king will please everyone by his practical activities, and all of his citizens will remain very satisfied. Because of this, the citizen will take great satisfaction in accepting him as their ruling king. A king is supposed to rule the citizen, but this king is so special. He will know, the king Prithumaras will know by his ruling potency and protect the citizen by cheerful mode. So during Mughal Empire, so the Mughals in India, so they were simply ruling the country, and they are not bothered about the peacefulness of the society. So that ruling is very different than the ruling we're talking about, other rulers in the history of the world. So our Shastra says king should have two characteristics. The first characteristic should be he should have a ruling potency, means he should rule the citizen as per the Shastra, so that the citizen will be happy. So in Sanskrit, it's called Rajati and uh, Rajati and Ranjayati. So Rajati means rule, and Ranjayati means to make them entertained or happy. So this is king also refers to that Rajati means you have to rule, and then also same time you have to make the citizens happy. Ranjayati. So if the king is able to do this, so then he is considered as a good king. Okay. So then Shastra says the kings should embodiment of demigods. Since the king represents a demigod, he should be Drudhavrataha. Satya Sandho means firmly determined and always situated in the truth. That will be the characteristics of king. So it says Drudhavrata Satya Sandho Brahmana Virodha Sevakaha means that it is mentioned other qualities. So there is recitation, the professional reciters praising Prithu Maharaj, and this is another glorification of Prithu Maharaj. So here is mentioned the king should be the king should not be only expert ruler, but should have Vaishnava qualities. So if the king has the Vaishnava qualities and the expert ruler, so then he is considered as the topmost king. The king will be a good ruler when he manifests the qualities of the demigods. A king should be the lover of the Brahminical culture, he who respects the Brahmanas. A king should be servitor to the old man. A king gives shelter to all surrendered souls, giving respect to all. Right? So how a king give respect and take care of all living entities. So we can have from a pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. This comes on the in the Ramayana. So that is a very beautiful story in Ramayana. Lord Ram was known to be his very just and caring king. He sat in his court every day trying to solve his people's problems. On a particular day, he had finished dealing with the day's problem and was about to wind up the court's activities. He told his brother Lakshmana, who was deeply dedicated to Lord Ram, to go and check out if you see is there anyone else waiting in the yard for their justice. So Lakshmana went out, looked around, came back and said, "There is nobody else. We are done for today." Lord Ram said, "Go and check again. So there may be someone." So it was little odd. So Lakshman had just looked, but he was being told to look once again. So he went and looked around again. There was nobody. As he was coming in, he noticed a dog sitting there with a very sad face. It had a wound on its head. He asked the dog, "Are you waiting for something?" The dog spoke, "Yes, I want justice from Lord Ram." Then Lakshmana said, "Why don't you come inside?" And took him. So dog said, "Since I'm the low caste animal, the lower birth animal, I'm not entered to the house of the Brahmana or to the palace of the king." Even the dog knows the morality during the time of Lord Ramachandra in Treta Yoga. So then Lakshmana took the dog to inside to the palace or the court. Then Lord Rama asked the dog, "What do you say? Do you have any suggestions?" The dog said, "Yes." So Lord Rama asked the dog, "What is the incident?" So he narrated all the incidents to Lord Ram. And then Lord Ram asked him, "What do you suggest? You know, what kind of punishment can be given to your, whoever do, harmful to you?" So then the dog said, "I have an appropriate punishment for this man who." So then, dog suggested make him the monk of the Kalinjar monastery, monk, because that person who the beggar, it was sometimes referred as the person hit the dog as a beggar, sometimes referred as the person who hit the dog as also the brahmana. So anyways, so that person, why he hit the dog? Because he was hungry. and the dog was barking near to him. That's why he hit with a rod. And so the dog said, since the person doesn't have the self control, so then give him the chief monk post of the Kalinjat monastery, so that he will be revive your consciousness and become a good devotee. And same time also he will get punished. Because why it's punished? Because he is not controlled. His mind is not controlled. He will be, once he will be in the monk, so he will be in the control mind. It will take some time for him to control his mind. That is his punishment. So it says, so this story tells that the king should give shelter to all surrendered souls and all living entities. That's the example. And that is another way to give respect. Shastra says, if you want chant a single, one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he is considered as Vaishnava, and we should also give respect to that person. So I had a good lecture. So there is something mentioned, very interesting thing, how to give respect to all living entities. So Lord Krishna says, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridaya Tistadi. So the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. So we can understand that inside the body of a human being or any living entities, Lord is present. So their body is as temple, and inside the temple is Lord is present. So when we see a temple, we always give respect. Whenever we go to our Radha Madhavari temple, by looking at a temple, oh, in our heart we have some respect and everything. So same way, if you think a living entity, if you saw a person, a living entity, he is that living entity is a temple. Inside a temple, that is a Lord is present. So if in this way, if you think, so then automatically you'll not be envious to anyone. You will be start respecting to that particular person. Even though he did something bad to you, you still think that, oh, this person, inside the person, that the Lord is present, and this his body is considered as a temple. So this way, if you follow this principle, this way we will respect to all living entities, right? And then the last verse, verse 17. So in the verse 17, or text 17, King Prithu, it mentioned, like, as you know, in this chapter, King Prithu Maharaj is an incarnation or partial incarnation of Lord Vishnu. He is known as the Saktyaves avatar. So in the Shastras, there are many Saktyaves avatars of Lord Vishnu. But out of this Saktyaves avatar, so there are seven Saktyaves avatar are very, very, very prominent. So the first Saktyaves avatar is very prominent. Is number one is Sesanaga. So Sesa in Vaikuntha, he is known as the seven Shakti avatar, means the incarnation of service attitude. So that is serving the Lord Vishnu in the Vaikuntha planet. And then the next is the second Saktyaves avatar. I will say Ananta. Ananta means Bhudharan Sakti. Bhudharan means carried the burden of the universe or planets on his head. So as you know, Lord Anant is carrying the innumerable universes on his head, right? So then the third Saktyaves avatar is Lord Brahma. Brahma also Brahma also Gunavatar and also Saktyaves avatar. He is the he is known as the Srishti Shakti avatar or the incarnation of creative energy. Okay, that's Lord Brahma. And next is Chatus Kumar, four Kumaras. They are Jnana Shakti avatar, incarnation of energy of knowledge. So these are the Saktyavis avatar. And then the next is Narada. Narada is known as Bhakti Shakti avatar, means avatar of the devotional service. And then King Prithu Maharaj. We are just reading about him. He is known as Palan Shakti Avatar, means Praja Palan Shakti, energy of the maintenance of citizen. That's the Prithu Maharaj. And then the next prominent Saktyaves avatar is Lord Parsuram. Parsuram is known as Dusta Damana Shakti, or subdued the rascal and the bad peoples. So that is the Lord Parsuram. So here, the professional reciters praise Prithu Maharaj will please everyone by his practical activities. King will be found determined and always situated in truth. the king will respect all women. This is the symptoms of the learned person. Chanakya Pandit says, everyone except one's wife is one's mother. He looks other property, garbage in the street, treats other as he treats oneself. This is symptoms of the learned person described by Chanakya Pandit. Prabhupada in purport mentioned that education doesn't mean having academic degree only. One should execute what he has learned in this personal life. So, so the Vidya one university is giving is known as Jara Vidya or Avidya or material education we are getting from the university. Jara Vidya yat mayara vaibhava tomara bhajane baddha. So this song was written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, materialistic stories are the glare of Maya only, for they are on the obstacle to the spiritual progress. That's called Jara Vidya. So those who get spiritual education, they worship Krishna as their life and soul, and the material education forget about Krishna. So, so that was on mentioned Jara Vidya. Kesav Kashmir, you know the pastimes of Kesav Kashmir. Keshav Kashmir acquired Joravidya, and he was so popped up by traveling around the world, just challenging the so-called Vidwans to make Shastra Jukti or arguments on Shastra with him, and then by defeating them, he gets satisfied. That is was the duty. That's what Keshav Kashmir was doing, unless until he meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then we know how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, guided him and corrected him, and then he gave him the spiritual knowledge, right? So with this note, I'll stop here. Please forgive me if I made any mistake while narrating this particular summarized